Why schools never taught you how to be rich. The classroom that forgot the most important subject. Think back to your school days. You learned how to solve for X. You memorized the dates of ancient wars. You could recite chemical symbols, list types of rocks, even diagram the parts of a frog. But no one ever stood at the front of the classroom and said, "Let me teach you how money works. Let me show you how to build wealth that lasts. Let me prepare you for a life where money serves you, not the other way around." And so, we graduated. Smart, tested, certified, but financially clueless. The high price of financial ignorance. Most of us didn't learn about money in school. We learned about it in the real world. When the rent was due, but the paycheck was gone. When the credit card debt grew faster than our income. When the emergency fund we never built failed to appear. When we realized that just working hard wasn't enough. And the worst part? We thought we were alone. We thought our struggle meant we were lazy, or unlucky, or broken. But the truth is simpler and more painful. No one taught us the rules. A forgotten voice from the past. Thousands of years ago, in the ancient city of Babylon, a different kind of classroom existed. It didn't have chalkboards or desks. It had stone benches, dusty roads, and old men with gold-lined scrolls. But in those streets, young men gathered to learn the one subject no empire can survive without: how to manage money. They didn't call it financial literacy. They called it wisdom. The old man's lesson. There's a story, long forgotten by modern textbooks, of a wise merchant named Kalabab. He had once been poor, broken, hungry, but over time he had built a fortune, brick by brick. One day, 7 of his former apprentices, men he had once fed, returned, asking him the secret. And Kalabab did not give them gold. He gave them something far more valuable. He said, "I will give you the 5 golden rules of wealth. Learn them, live them, and you will never starve again." Why most people struggle with money. In our modern world, people still work hard. They still dream. They still try, but they don't know how to save strategically, how to spend wisely, how to invest cautiously, how to think long-term, how to control their own desires. And so they run faster and faster on a wheel that goes nowhere. The cycle of the poor and the middle class. Here is the pattern most people live in. Earn, spend, survive, repeat. They think, if I just made more, I'd be fine. But when they earn more, they spend more, and the wheel spins faster. Because income does not equal wealth. Knowledge does. What schools should have taught us: how to budget, how to invest, how to delay gratification, how to build assets, how to avoid traps, how to think like an owner, not a worker. But instead, we were told, get good grades, get a job, get a mortgage, work until you retire, hope for the best. Hope is not a financial strategy. The truth about wealth. The truth is simple, but uncomfortable. Wealth is not created by chance. It is created by understanding and discipline. You don't have to be born rich. You don't have to be a genius. You don't have to win the lottery. But you do have to learn what works. And more importantly, you have to live by it. The 5 golden rules of wealth. In this video, you will learn the forgotten foundation of saving, why most people will never escape debt, how to build wealth even if you start with nothing, how to protect your money from others and yourself, Why mastering yourself is more important than mastering markets. These are not hacks, not tricks, not get-rich-quick ideas. They are unshakable laws, proven by time, trusted by generations, and practiced by the truly wealthy. Why they're not taught in school? Because most schools weren't built to create owners. They were built to create workers. And workers don't need to know how wealth works. They just need to show up and trade time for money. But you're here because you want more. Not just more money, but more control, more confidence, more clarity, more freedom. And that journey begins with these 5 golden rules. What this video will do for you. By the end of this video, you will understand where your money truly goes. Discover how to reverse your financial direction. Learn the patterns that keep most people broke. Rebuild your mindset around wealth. Begin a path that leads, slowly but surely, to financial freedom. This is not entertainment. This is not theory. This is the real curriculum you should have received years ago. One last thought before we begin. If you listen with an open heart, if you apply what you learn, if you persist through discomfort, you will become the kind of person that gold doesn't just visit, but stays with. Gold, Kalabab once said, is not loyal to the clever. It is loyal to
keep more than you spend. Why saving is not optional anymore. The first truth most people deny. The first time Kalabab spoke this rule, his students were confused. "Master," they said, "we work hard. We barely earn enough. How can we possibly save?" Kalabab nodded, his face calm. "That," he said, "is why you must save. Because if you wait until you can afford to, you never will." This is the first golden rule of wealth, the one from which all others begin. Keep more than you spend. Save at least 1/10 of everything you earn, without exception. The lie that keeps you poor. Most people believe a dangerous idea. I'll save later, when I earn more. But when later comes, they're still not saving, because their spending has grown with their income. Because desires expand faster than paychecks. Because they've built a habit, not of saving, but of spending. And habits, once built, do not leave without a fight. Why saving is not about amount, but identity. It doesn't matter if you earn $100 or $10,000. If you don't save now, you won't save then. Because saving is not about having enough. It's about being someone who saves. It is identity first, behavior second. When you choose to keep a portion of every dollar that comes to you, you declare, "I respect my future more than my impulses. I serve myself before I serve the world. I control money. It does not control me." The cost of not saving. What happens when you don't save? You fear every emergency. You rely on debt for survival. You become a slave to your next paycheck. You sell your time with no end in sight. You panic when income stops. You depend on others when life goes wrong. In short, you give away your power. Kalabab said, "The man who does not keep a part of all he earns has no gold, only regret." The Babylonian way. In ancient Babylon, even the poorest men were expected to save. A stone worker earning 10 coins a week would keep 1 for himself. A merchant would store 1/10 of every transaction. A farmer would set aside grain from every harvest before selling or eating the rest. Why? Because they understood. If you eat all your seed, you have no harvest. If you spend all your income, you have no future. Saving was not a luxury, it was the first act of survival. The foundation of every fortune. Every fortune, no matter how vast, began with a single truth. A small part of all I earn is mine to keep. Even if it's only $1 out of 10. Even if it feels like a drop in the ocean. Because one drop becomes 2, 2 becomes 10, 10 becomes 100, and soon your purse begins to grow. Silently, steadily, without applause, but with power. Why most people fail to save? It's not because they don't want to, it's because they don't track their spending. They confuse wants with needs. They try to save what's left instead of saving first. They believe they need motivation, when what they really need is a system. Kalabab taught, save first, spend what remains, not the other way around. It sounds simple, but it is the dividing line between the rich and the rest. The psychology of paying yourself first. Most people pay everyone else first. The landlord, the phone company, the taxman, the grocer, the merchant. And what's left? Usually nothing. But the man who pays himself first, even just 10%, begins to walk differently. He feels dignity. He feels control. He feels a shift in identity. Not because he's rich yet, but because he knows he's becoming someone who will be. What you can do right now: open a separate account or pouch. Name it My Wealth. From your next income, take 10% immediately, before rent, before bills. Do not spend it, ever, not even for emergencies. This is not your backup fund. This is your freedom fund. Repeat every month, without fail, without excuse. Watch how your thinking begins to change. This single act can change everything. Kalabab's final words on rule number 1. The man who keeps a part of all he earns will find himself soon surprised, not by how little he has saved, but by how fast it begins to grow. And one day, you'll look at that account, that pouch, that stash, and you'll say, I am not afraid of tomorrow, because I have prepared for it today.
Make your money work for you. How the rich grow richer without lifting a finger. Are you the only one working in your house? That was the question Kalabab once asked a student. The young man, a baker's apprentice, said proudly, "Yes, master, I work from sunrise to dusk to earn every coin I have." Kalabab raised an eyebrow. "Then you are a poor man indeed, because in my house, my gold works harder than I do." And so he revealed the second golden rule of wealth. Make your money work for you, so you no longer must. The shift from labor to leverage. Most people live in a one-worker household. That one worker is themselves. They exchange hours for income. If they stop working, the money stops too. But the rich? They build a team of silent workers called dollars. Each dollar is a seed. Each dollar is a soldier. Each dollar is a servant. And if employed wisely, those dollars never sweep, never complain, and never get tired. You work for money, but does money work for you? You wake up early, you clock in, you give your best, you get paid. And then what? Most people spend it, some save it, but the wise, they employ it. They don't just want money, they want money that brings back more money. This is called return, and it is the foundation of financial freedom. The power of compounding, gold born of gold. Kalabab shared this parable. If you plant one coin and it bears one more, and that one bears another, soon you will have a tree, not a coin. This is the magic of compound interest, the single most powerful force in finance. Save $100. Earn 10%. Next year, you have $110. Earn 10% again, now on $110, and so on. Your money begins to multiply itself, like fruit from a tree, season after season. Why most people never get rich, even when they save. Saving is noble, but saving alone is not enough, because inflation steals value, emergencies drain accounts, and money at rest slowly dies. That's why your money must move. It must flow, grow, and return with interest. Otherwise, you are like a man with seeds in a pouch, but never planting them. From saver to investor. To become wealthy, you must become an investor. This does not mean gambling. It does not mean chasing get-rich-quick promises. It means putting your money in places that create more money. Choosing slow, steady, and sustainable growth. Letting time do the heavy lifting. Kalabab once said, "The tree that grows quietly is the one whose roots reach deepest." Where should you begin? Babylon had no stock market, no crypto, no real estate agents. And yet, the wise grew rich. How? They lent gold to trusted tradesmen. They invested in fertile land that yielded crops. They bought into businesses they understood. They learned a trade that paid them interest in skill. Today, your options are more abundant. Stocks, index funds, rental property, peer lending, small businesses, digital assets, your own education. The method matters less than the principle. Do not let your money sleep. Let it serve. The danger of idle gold. Kalabab warned, money that rests becomes restless and eventually disappears. You see this in the real world. People saving in a box while inflation eats their value. People hoarding cash with no plan. People working hard but letting their savings rot. Idle gold invites disaster. Employed gold creates protection and possibility. The Babylonian way to multiply gold. Here's what Kalabab taught his sons. Save 1/10 of your income. Use that portion to buy or invest in things that bring return. Reinvest the gains, do not spend them. Repeat this over years, not weeks. Never rush, but never stop. The poor man spends. The middle-class man saves. The rich man invests. Your goal? Financial independence. Imagine waking up one day and realizing your money has replaced your labor. Your investments pay your rent. Your returns cover your groceries. Your assets grow, even while you sleep. This is not a dream. It is the natural result of rule number 2, practiced consistently over time. What you can do now. List all the money you currently save. Choose one low-risk, long-term investment you understand. Start small,
The habit matters more than the amount. Track results. Learn what works. Reinvest profits. Do not withdraw. Let time work for you, because your dollars, if idle, do nothing. But if invested wisely, they become your army. Kalabab's final words on rule number 2. The man who works for money is a laborer, but the man whose money works for him is free. So ask yourself, are you the only one working in your house? Or is your gold, too, earning its keep? The choice is yours.
Protect your wealth. How to keep what you've built from disappearing overnight. What good is a fortune if you can't keep it? Kalabab once told the story of a man who struck it rich. He was a sandal maker, clever, skilled, and hungry. One summer, a caravan of nobles came through Babylon and bought every sandal in his shop. By winter, his purse overflowed. And by spring, it was empty again. Why? Because he gave his gold to a stranger promising triple returns. He bought exotic goods he didn't understand. He lived as if his purse would never run dry. Kalabab said, "The gods of wealth do not favor the reckless. They reward the wise, and they punish the careless." Thus, the third golden rule: protect your wealth before you grow it. The most overlooked step in getting rich. Everyone wants to earn. Some want to invest, but very few ask, how do I make sure I don't lose it? And yet, that question is the most important one of all. Because building wealth is hard, but losing it is easy. Shockingly easy. One mistake, one scam, one emotion-driven decision, and years of effort gone. The 3 greatest dangers to wealth. Kalabab warned of 3 thieves more cunning than any bandit. 1. Ignorance. Placing money where you do not understand the business, product, or risk. The blind leading the blind into bankruptcy. 2. Greed. Chasing too good to be true promises. The lust for quick gain is the fastest road to permanent loss. 3. Trusting the wrong people. Handing your gold to someone just because they smile, just because they say what you want to hear. Gold, Kalabab said, runs from the man who trusts blindly. Wealth without wisdom is a trap. There are people who get rich, and there are people who stay rich. The difference is protection. Protection means knowing where your money is, understanding how it can be lost, and having a plan to minimize risk. Saying no when others rush in. Thinking long-term, not emotionally. The man who loses gold twice to the same mistake was never rich. He only borrowed wealth from fortune. Build fences before you plant trees. Imagine this. You've built a beautiful garden. Fruit grows in every corner, but you forgot the fence. What happens? The goats come. The thieves come. The wind and rain destroy the work. Wealth is the same. Before you grow it, guard it. Don't let your money be exposed before it's ready. Don't let your effort be wasted by lack of caution. Ask these questions before every decision. Kalabab taught his sons to ask 5 questions before placing gold in any man's hand. Do I fully understand what this investment is? Is the person offering it experienced and proven? What's the worst-case scenario? If I lost this money, could I survive? Do I feel pressure, hype, or fear? If yes, walk away. These 5 questions saved more fortunes than swords ever did. Real stories of the unwise. The merchant who bought magic seeds. They were just weeds.
The builder who gave all his savings to his cousin's new idea. The cousin fled. The soldier who invested in foreign jewels. They turned out to be colored glass. Each had good intentions, but intentions don't protect gold. Caution does. How the wise protect their wealth. Wise men do not fear risk, they respect it. They use insurance for what they cannot afford to lose, diversification to spread risk, contracts to protect deals, education to recognize traps, silence when others rush in. The cautious man walks slowly, but always forward, said Kellobob. What you can do now. Review where your money currently lives. Savings, investments, partnerships. Audit the risk. What could go wrong? What do you not understand? Get advice from people who've succeeded in that space, not from YouTube comments. Create buffers, emergency funds, insurance, legal protection. Avoid urgency. Wealth hates haste. Kellobob's final words on rule number 3. A man who protects his gold sleeps better, and a man who sleeps well lives well. So remember, don't chase what glitters, don't invest with blind eyes, don't trust what you can't explain. Because building wealth is one thing, keeping it is mastery.
Build streams, not ponds. How to create money that never stops coming. The problem with ponds. Kellobob once asked his students, if you were lost in the desert and you found a small pond, would you celebrate? The students nodded. And what if the sun dried it by morning? Their smiles faded. Then he asked, wouldn't it be wiser to find a stream? Something that keeps flowing even if the sun rises? That, he explained, is the difference between most people's finances and true wealth. Ponds are money you have once. Most people build ponds. A bonus, a tax refund, a one-time sale, a lucky investment, a single paycheck. They receive money once. They spend it quickly, and then it's gone. They are always searching for the next pond, hoping it doesn't dry up. Streams are money that keeps flowing. Wealthy people don't just collect coins, they build streams. Monthly income from rental property, dividends from stocks, royalties from books or creations, interest from lending, income from businesses they own, returns from silent partnerships, even skills that generate repeat customers. Streams don't pay once, they pay again and again. Why streams matter more than size? A pond might be big, but when it's empty, it's still dry. A stream might be small, but if it flows every day, it can fill rivers. You don't need a huge windfall. You need a reliable system, because consistency beats intensity. Better a gold coin that returns each week than a mountain of treasure that never grows. Shifting from how much to how often. Poor and middle-class minds ask, how much can I get? The wealthy ask, how often will it come? The first mindset creates sporadic income. The second builds predictable abundance. It's not about earning more. It's about building systems that earn for you. How to build streams in real life. Kellobob taught, build streams from your gold, your skills, and your mind. Your gold. Invest in income-producing assets, real estate, stocks, funds. Lend to reputable people or platforms. Own equity in businesses with recurring cash flow. Your skills. Turn knowledge into courses, coaching, or services. Charge recurring clients instead of one-time work. Create value once, get paid many times. Royalties, subscriptions. Your mind. Build systems, automate where possible. Understand business models that scale. Think flow, not flash. One stream is not enough. Kellobob warned, The man who drinks from one stream may die of thirst when it dries. Life happens. A business fails, a market crashes, a job disappears. So the wise build multiple streams. Start with one, then two, then more. Like branches on a tree, if one breaks, the tree still lives. What stops people from building streams? They chase quick wins. They focus only on income, not systems. They think it's too late. They say, I don't know how. But the truth is, you don't need to know everything. You just need to start one small stream and learn from the flow. Pinpoint what you can do now. Write down your current income sources. Label them pond or stream. Ask, what can I create that pays me repeatedly? Pick one idea, however small, and act on it this week. Track it monthly, improve it, then build the next. Kalabab's final words on rule number 4. Streams turn into rivers. Rivers carve valleys. And from those valleys, nations are born. Do not settle for a puddle. Build something that lasts, that flows, that feeds. And remember, the poor spend money. The middle class save money. The rich build streams of money. Master yourself before you master money, the final secret that changes everything. The enemy is not out there, it's within. Kalabab once looked his students in the eye and said, "You have learned to save, you have learned to invest, you have even begun to build streams of gold. But if you do not learn to rule yourself, your gold will find its way into another man's pocket." And so the final and most important law of wealth was spoken. Master yourself before you try to master money. Why self-control is the real currency. You can have knowledge, you can have opportunity, you can even have money in hand. But if you lack discipline, focus, patience, restraint, emotional control, then wealth becomes temporary, like sand slipping through fingers. Because the real test isn't can you earn money, it's can you keep it and grow it when life tempts you to spend, react, or quit. The undisciplined mind is a leaky purse. Impulse spending, fear-based decisions, overconfidence in investments, jealousy of others, laziness masked as waiting for the right time, guilt-driven generosity, shame-fueled avoidance of problems. These are not financial problems. They are personal problems with financial consequences. Kalabab said, "No man can guard his gold if he cannot guard his thoughts." The war within. There is a constant war inside us, between desire and wisdom, between the present and the future, between ego and humility, between fear and logic. You win this war not once, but every day, with every small decision. Do I buy this now or invest it later? Do I react emotionally or respond with strategy? Do I quit because it's hard or persist because it matters? Wealth is built or destroyed by these moments. Build the man before you build the mansion. You can have the best tools, the best plan, the best map. But if the builder is lazy, impulsive, or undisciplined, the house will collapse. You must become a man or woman whose character is stronger than his cravings, whose vision is clearer than his fear, whose actions are aligned with long-term purpose. Money will not save you from yourself. Only mastery will. The Babylonian Code of Self-Mastery. Kalabab's personal code passed to his sons. Rise before the city stirs. Build your habits early. Write your goals weekly. A man with no target hits nothing. Delay pleasures. The fruit is sweeter when earned. Speak less, observe more. Emotion destroys opportunity. Reflect each night. The wealthy review their thoughts, not just their coins. What no mentor can give you. A mentor can teach you where to put your gold. A teacher can show you how to multiply it. A father can warn you of dangers. But only you can decide to live like someone who deserves to be wealthy. And that decision happens in the mirror. Not once, but every time you choose principle over pleasure. What you can do now: audit your mindset. Where does emotion rule you? Create simple rules for yourself. Example, no spending after 9 p.m. or invest before I buy. Track behaviors, not just balances. Meditate or journal weekly. Mastery is born in reflection. Forgive yourself, then correct. Guilt without action is useless. Calabob's final words: gold is attracted to strength, not of arm, but of spirit. A man who earns gold but is ruled by desire will live in cycles, but the man who conquers himself will never beg again. The full circle of wealth. You've now walked through the 5 golden rules. Keep more than you spend, make your money work for you, protect what you've built, build streams, not ponds, master yourself before you master money. Together they form not just a strategy, but a philosophy of life. A life where you are no longer controlled by your job, no longer enslaved by debt, no longer chasing approval, no longer afraid of the future, because you have become a master of money, not a slave to it. The journey doesn't end here. You won't get it perfect. You will fall. You will forget. You will fail. But now you know the rules. Now you have the tools. Now you see the path. Keep walking, and one day you will not just have gold. You will have freedom, and that is true wealth. Thank you for walking this journey. Let this be not the end of the video, but the beginning of a new way of life. Conclusion: this is not the end, it's the beginning. Now you've walked through every rule. You've stood with Kalabob in the ancient streets. You've heard the wisdom that survived empires. You've remembered truths no classroom ever taught you. But this isn't history. It's a mirror. Not a story of what once was, but of what could be for you. Let's revisit the 5 golden rules. 1. Keep more than you spend. You don't get rich by earning more. You get rich by keeping what you earn with purpose. 2. Make your money work for you. Stop working alone. Build a team of dollars that earn while you sleep. 3. Protect your wealth. It takes years to build and minutes to lose. Guard your gold like a warrior guards his kingdom. 4. Build streams, not ponds. One-time income disappears. Recurring income frees you. 5. Master yourself. Money follows discipline. If you win the inner war, the outer world bends to you. Most people will hear this and change nothing. They'll nod, they'll agree, they'll say, that makes sense. And then they'll go back to scrolling, back to impulse buys, back to working for a paycheck with no plan. Why? Because information is nothing without transformation. The rules are golden, but only if you live them. The road from here. You now stand at a fork in the road. One path leads back to comfort, sameness, survival. The other, to discomfort, to habit change, to long nights, clear goals, and a different future. But that second road leads to freedom. Not just financial freedom, but freedom from fear, freedom from dependence, freedom to choose how you live, where you live, and who you become. You don't need to be perfect, just committed. You will stumble, you'll overspend, you'll doubt, you'll get impatient. But if you return to these rules every time, you will build something real, something solid, something that lasts longer than luck, faster than hope, stronger than motivation. Wealth, Kalabob said, does not answer to wishes, only to work and wisdom. A final message from the ancient world. You do not need more time. You do not need more money. You do not need someone to save you. You need to decide that today you become the master of your gold. That's where the journey begins. Not in Babylon, not in books, not in banks, but within you. Now go. Rewatch this if you must. Share it with someone who needs it. Write the rules down, print them, live them, and one day, teach them. Because when your grandchildren ask you how you built the life they now enjoy, you'll smile and say, it all began with 5 rules and 1 decision, to finally follow them. This is the end of the video, but the beginning of your wealth.